Well, it's just small, actionable pieces of information that, a 1 minute lesson that maybe has a point and a benefit and an action, a new behaviour. And so it might be a little video mini course where no video is more than 5 minutes, and it might be one video a day or every second day over a period of time, or it could be a curated feed where you mix up things like a blog article or a podcast episode or a report or a white paper or an extract from a journal article. And interviews are really good too, because there's that to and fro that sometimes you get in a workshop. That is a nice way to learn. But as I say, it's incorporated during the work day where people take a moment to engage with that learning and then go back to work. So it's almost like a refresh break.
Welcome to the Manage Self, Lead Others Leadership podcast with Nina Sunday for experienced and aspiring people managers. This show will help you explore ways to become a more intentional leader. Each episode, host Nina Sunday speaks with some of the brightest business minds on the planet who share a passion to elevate and transform team culture. Workplace culture hides in plain sight. Is yours flourishing? Join the movement to make your workplace a better place to work. Are you ready? Because it's time to manage self, lead others.
Well, I'd like to welcome my assistant for the last few months, a learning and development graduate now, who's about to take off into the corporate world. Welcome, Isabel Odger.
Thank you, Nina. Hello, thanks for having me.
And we've been working on a project here, morphing my one-day workshops into this e-learning platform that we've been using. And you've been asking questions, and we thought that we might have you ask those questions in case our listeners, it's of interest to them. So yes. Fire away.
Well, so I've sort of been witnessing a new style of training delivery that is kind of an answer to fitting in professional development. So I was hoping that you could tell us about a new trend in L&D that allows people to not have to leave their desks to go to a specific workshop on a specific topic, but instead learn on the fly, so to speak.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest hindrances to getting training scheduled is people finding everybody having the same day or half day available. And while this is not a replacement to the occasions where you do want everybody to get together, would it be nice if we could have a learning organisation where we're regularly learning and not just relying on, is everybody available this week? So about 18 months ago, I came across an already created software platform that actually you as the author of the content, as the curator of the feed, you automatically or you populate your content, whether it be images, videos, articles, and it's delivered to the user through their smartphone app or through their desktop as a notification once a day, and they can choose what time they go in to access the information, but it's 5 minutes a day over the duration. Now, we call them short and sweets because it's a daily 5-minute short and sweet micro lesson. But also we're playing around with either the 5-day duration and the 30-day duration, but it could be a 14-day, a 21-day, and some organisations are contacting us and say, Nina, we want just a 21-day on this particular topic, and we can create that for them. But research shows that people can only devote about 1% of their working week to training, and that works out to about 24 minutes a week. So learning in the flow of work is a term that was first coined by Josh Bersin back in 2018.
So what exactly is learning in the flow of work?
Well, as you said it before, it's learning on the fly. It's not taking time away from your desk. It's within the employee's workflow. And they might use 5 minutes of training or viewing a micro lesson as a break in between different tasks throughout the day. So it's giving people access to relevant interesting and effective micro-learning that is bite-sized and also is actionable and accessible. So they've always got their phone with them, so they can just when maybe at the end of lunch they might choose to access it. Then they can choose the time they access it. It's just the idea of having this daily flow and learning in the flow of work.
Are there like more sort of benefits to that bite-sized format of learning?
Oh, yes. Josh Bersin has some very specific research on that. And I'll put in the show notes the actual figures, 20 times increase in this and 2.6 times increase in that. But I'll just say quite succinctly, he's discovered that organizations that do this regular micro-learning and give access to their teams, they exceed their financial targets. And if it's including customer service training, well, they're obviously delighting their customers. If they're growing their people through professional development, well, then they're more likely to retain their people, maybe not forever, but at least for longer. And they're building skills that lead to career growth. So you're building skills with your own people who you can then grow and promote within the organization, which saves costly recruitment fees. And you're helping people grow, you're helping people realize their full potential. And one of the things that we've had in this very VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous, VUCA, V-U-C-A, people that do regular short learning adapt better to change. They embrace change rather than resist it or fear it. So that's what you want. You want people that go, oh, there's another change? Well, that's fine. I'll just go with that. It's the agile concept. And of course, what you want is innovation. If you've got people that are growing with their abilities and their mindset and their behaviors, well, they're more likely to come up with innovative ideas. And that's truly what you want.
Yeah. So learning in the flow of work uses micro-learning. Do you have any sort of specific examples of what micro-learning could look like?
Well, it's small bite-sized learning, usually with some actionable steps or behaviors at the end. So if it could be a video mini course with maybe five up to 5-minute videos. It could be a blog article. It could be a podcast episode. It could be listening to an extract from a podcast episode. It could be a report. It could be an extract from a journal article. It could be a fireside chat, but recorded. It could be one of the senior leaders of your organization talking about one of the topic themes.
Yeah.
And of course, that's an opportunity for the people, if it's a closed group experiencing it as a group, you can actually have senior leadership sending messages through interview and through short videos to the team members. So in my short and sweets, we call them, I'm the main curator, I'm the main person on the videos, and people are sort of participating on day one together, and they go through all the different steps over either the 5-day or the 30-day short and sweet learning experience.
So are there any automated or turnkey platforms that deliver a pre-prepared feed or a curated feed to people?
Well, yeah, that's it. That's probably what I was describing, in that it's not a platform that's already got the content. Right. You create the content, or you can access the content. Like, for example, if you had the rights to a TEDx talk or a YouTube talk, well, then that's something that can go in. You just decide what it should be. I already had created these mini courses in customer service, time management, and business writing. But I was finding that once again, people were having to buy it as a solo experience, and it was a bit lonely. So what we now have is, it's like we have a date, we set a date where it's going to start. And that's, people download the app either on their phone or through the desktop to view on their desktop. and they all start on the same day, but they don't have to start in the same moment. They'll get the notification at the same time, but they've got 24 hours, or they can catch up later. But here's the thing, they do earn points if they do view it within the 24-hour timeframes. So we encourage people, there's a little bit of incentive there to actually participate. But more importantly, there's peer-to-peer support, and people can send messages of encouragement. Look, you don't have to know the person to actually get an encouraging message. And then by the end, we are actually all becoming friends. And I try, if it suits everybody, to create a recognition meeting at the end where we all get to meet live online over Zoom. I try and make it so it crosses time zones, because we've usually got people from the United States, Europe, as well as Australia participating, because they can, because it's not at any one time. And by the end, well, I get people saying, when's the next short and sweet? I want to do another one.
Yeah, so it's very much a group experience, and the peer-to-peer support you think is really kind of the crux of what makes it work.
Yeah, that's why I really no longer sort of promote on its own these mini courses. I've now populated a platform where it delivers it as an experience that other people are experiencing at the same time. And just the comments, it's like, well, I won't say it's a book club because you're not reading books, but if you know what I mean, it's like 5 minutes of learning a day, but you have other people within the same cohort that can actually comment, or if you had your own question. If certainly I'm available, say I wasn't available, someone else might be able to answer that question or give an opinion. If you're thinking, what if? A lot of people say, oh, yes, Nina said this, but what if? And then you're off innovating.
So just ever so slightly changing the subject, why should a manager cultivate a learning culture?
Well, Peter Senge wrote the book originally, The Learning Organization, and definitely the research shows that if you can give people a sense of personal progress, if you build capability, you'll have more loyal team members. They will be more engaged. They're more resilient. They're less likely to have mental health issues. So you're cultivating a mentally healthy workplace. And of course, if you've got people that are not stressed, but expressing more joy and happiness at work because they're learning how to overcome difficulty, and they're doing it together as a group because you're building skills as well, well, it's less of a headache for you. So what's in it for you is the organisation gets a happy, engaged workforce, but at the same time, you're facilitating the growth for your workers. So it's a win-win.
I know some companies organize access to a vault of learning videos and resources.
Yes. You know what? Twice in my life, I've had, more than twice, I've had access to a whole vault of training materials, and I get started and then I kind of peter out, and it's kind of the, what goes up must come down. There's no one else doing it with you at the same time or that you know of, and you don't have the opportunity to converse, to share an opinion. It's a bit like in a Zoom meeting, you've got the chat box and people make a comment, then other people make a comment. So it's that whole group experience. So I like the fact that it's like you've got your own little chat box for the duration of the short and sweet. And that way you feel connected to other people in the learning process. Yeah. Bersin has a name for it, Josh Bersin. He calls it growth in the flow of work.
Growth in the flow of work. I see.
Instead of just learning in the flow of work, it's growth in the flow of work.
Well, listen, if listeners would like to know more about the platform that you use and how you've been sort of morphing your face-to-face programs into these actionable 5-minute-a-day bite-size pieces, can they contact you?
Oh, absolutely. I encourage them to do so. And think about this. It's not just whether you want to register your people or yourself for one of my short and sweets, and you don't have to call it short and sweet, you can call it whatever you like. You might have content that you personally or your in-house trainer, you might want to schedule them to use the platform to deliver your own content. So you could do how to fly a plane if you wanted to. Although maybe that doesn't lend itself to microlearning, but maybe that's a good reinforcement after the actual flying a plane sessions. So, how to change a tire on a wheel on a big truck. So whatever. You can use it for any technical training whatsoever. It's your platform to put in whatever content. So look, there's a few suppliers of this out there. I'm using one that I'm happy with, and I'm happy to share that with my listeners. Yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's got a future in this sort of evolving, continuing workplace that we're seeing. So it's been great to hear all about it from you, Nina. Thank you so much for the conversation today.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure talking with you today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nina.
Nina Sunday is on a mission to help leaders transform culture. To book Nina Sunday CSP to speak at your conference, visit ninasunday.com to request a proposal. Nina travels from Brisbane, Australia for in-person presentations Australia-wide. Twice certified virtual presenter, Nina Sunday presents virtually, globally, for any time zone.